Have you ever wondered why, despite doing everything, right? Eating what looks like healthy food, cutting back on fats, following the advice on the back of the cereal box, you still feel sluggish, bloated, and oddly unsatisfied after meals. Why is it that so many people, no matter their diet or willpower, constantly battle cravings and fatigue? That's not a coincidence. It's not weakness. It's chemistry. And it begins with one ingredient that has quietly infiltrated almost every corner of our food system. The truth is, the most dangerous carbohydrate in the world isn't some exotic, rare substance. It's the one we know best, the one we've been told makes life sweeter, celebrations happier, and mornings brighter. It's refined sugar, and it's hiding in plain sight. Sugar doesn't just sit in your dessert, it's woven into foods that have no business being sweet. The yogurt you think is healthy, the whole grain bread you buy, the sauce on your pasta, all laced with hidden sugar. The average person today consumes more sugar in a single day than our ancestors did in an entire week, sometimes even a month, and what's worse, most of it doesn't even taste sweet. It's disguised behind labels like evaporated cane juice, high fructose corn syrup, maltodextrin, rice syrup, or fruit concentrate. You might ask, if it's so bad, why is it everywhere? Because sugar sells. It makes cheap food taste irresistible. It keeps you coming back for more. It hijacks your taste buds, rewires your reward system, and turns ordinary foods into addictive triggers. The more you eat, the more you crave, and the harder it becomes to stop. Now, here's the part that stings. Sugar isn't just feeding your cravings. It's feeding disease. Every spoonful you consume spikes your blood sugar, forcing your body to release insulin to bring it back down. Over time, your cells stop responding to that insulin. Your body has to produce more and more just to get the same effect. That's how insulin resistance begins, the silent doorway to type 2 diabetes, obesity, and heart disease. But even before those diseases appear, sugar is already doing damage. It ages your skin by breaking down collagen. It fogs your memory. It drains your focus. It saps your energy, leaving you in a constant cycle of highs and crashes, a biochemical roller coaster that makes life feel harder than it needs to be. And the cruelest part, it's all perfectly legal, perfectly packaged, perfectly marketed. You're not warned about it the way you're warned about cigarettes or alcohol. In fact, you're encouraged to consume it. You're told it's low fat, wholesome, or natural. Yet behind the friendly labels lies an ingredient responsible for more inflammation, more fatigue, and more preventable disease than almost any other in modern diets. So when we say the most dangerous carb in the world, it's not because it kills instantly. It's because it kills quietly. It erodes your health one craving at a time, one snack at a time, one innocent breakfast at a time. Once you see it for what it truly is, not comfort, not celebration, but control, you start to take your power back. You start noticing how often your body asks for sugar, and you begin to wonder why. You start to question the cravings instead of obeying them. That's where change begins, not in the kitchen, but in the mind. And when that shift happens, when you realize this carb has been dictating your energy, your emotions, your choices, that's when you finally understand breaking free from sugar isn't about dieting. It's about liberation. Why does this carb trigger constant hunger, the bottomless feeling that makes you crave more even after you've eaten? The answer lies in how sugar manipulates the brain. When you eat refined carbohydrates, especially sugar, your blood glucose spikes rapidly. In that moment, your brain releases dopamine, the feel-good chemical, giving you a rush of pleasure and reward. It feels good. That's why that first bite of a donut or that sip of soda hits so differently. But what happens next is the real trap. Within minutes, your blood sugar crashes. The dopamine fades. Your energy plummets. Suddenly, you feel tired, anxious, or even irritable. Your brain, now deprived of that quick high, sends a signal, get me more. So you reach for another sweet, another bite, another drink. That's not hunger, that's withdrawal. Sugar doesn't feed your body. It feeds your dependency. In Why We Eat Too Much by Dr. Andrew Jenkinson, he describes how the human brain evolved to crave quick energy during times of scarcity. Back then, that craving helped us survive. Today, in a world of unlimited processed foods, it keeps us trapped. Your body doesn't know the difference between a famine and a fast food commercial. It just knows that sweet means safety, even when it's slowly destroying your health. This cycle, spike, crash, crave, creates a biochemical loop that keeps you hungry even when you've had enough. That's why you can eat an entire meal, maybe even a dessert, and still feel like something's missing. Sugar shuts off your natural fullness signals, especially the hormone leptin, which tells your brain you're satisfied. It tricks you into eating more, not because your body needs fuel, but because your brain wants another dopamine hit. And here's what's even more dangerous. Over time, your brain builds tolerance. Just like with drugs or alcohol, it takes more sugar to feel the same pleasure. You start needing sweeter foods just to feel normal. Ordinary fruit starts to taste bland. Real food, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, feels boring compared to the engineered sweetness of processed snacks. That's how sugar wins. It doesn't overpower you overnight, it rewires you slowly. It changes your taste preferences, your energy patterns, your emotions. It makes you mistake addiction for appetite. The moment you understand that this isn't about willpower, it's about biology, everything shifts. You stop blaming yourself for your cravings. You start recognizing the manipulation built into your food. And when you begin to reduce that sugar, even just a little, your hunger changes. You start craving balance instead of bursts. You start feeling full from nourishment, not stimulation. Breaking free from this cycle doesn't just calm your appetite, it restores your control. Because when your hunger is no longer driven by addiction, it becomes what it was always meant to be, a signal, not a command. How can something so small, so sweet, cause so much destruction inside the human body? The truth is, the danger of sugar runs far deeper than cravings or weight gain. It's what it does to your vital organs that makes it truly lethal. Every spoonful of refined sugar sets off a chain reaction that silently damages your brain, heart, and metabolism. When sugar enters your bloodstream, it floods your system with glucose, far more than your body is designed to handle at once. To protect you, your pancreas releases insulin, the hormone that helps move that sugar into your cells. When this happens too often, with every soda, cookie healthy, snack bar, or sugary coffee, your cells start resisting insulin signal. That's insulin resistance, the foundation of many of today's deadliest diseases. Once insulin resistance sets in, sugar stops being used for energy and starts being stored as fat, not just under your skin, but around your organs. Fat begins to build up around your liver and heart, clogging arteries, raising blood pressure, and thickening your blood. Every heartbeat has to work harder to push through that sludge. It's like trying to pump syrup through a garden hose. The pressure rises, and eventually something bursts. And it doesn't stop there. Sugar feeds chronic inflammation. The slow internal fire that burns without pain until it's too late. Inflammation damages blood vessels, dulls brain function, and accelerates aging from the inside out. It's been linked to arthritis, strokes, heart disease, and even certain cancers. You may not feel it right away, but inside, the damage is constant. The brain suffers the most. Sugar causes rapid swings in energy that disrupt concentration, memory, and emotional stability. Studies have shown that high sugar consumption can shrink parts of the brain responsible for learning and memory, the same areas affected by Alzheimer's disease. It's no wonder some experts now call it type 3 diabetes. Imagine that the same substance that makes your coffee sweet could over time make your mind fade. Sugar also sabotages your metabolism, the very engine that keeps your body alive. When insulin levels remain high for too long, your body loses its ability to burn fat efficiently. You start feeling tired even when you rest. You gain weight even when you eat less. You crave energy, but never seem to find it. That's because your metabolism has been hijacked, switched from burning clean fuel to constantly fighting off toxicity. The cruel irony is that we often consume sugar to feel alive, to reward ourselves, to lift our mood, to find energy, yet it's the very thing that drains that life force from us. It's the silent thief that trades your vitality for a moment of pleasure. Think about this. What if your fatigue, your brain fog, your stubborn belly fat, your afternoon crash weren't signs of aging, but symptoms of addiction? What if they were your body's way of whispering, "I'm tired of fighting this"? The truth is, you can't fully heal, focus, or thrive while your body is under constant sugar attack. The mind may crave sweetness, but the body pays the price. And until you break that cycle, the cost keeps rising, one craving, one snack, one sip at a time. Have you ever noticed how after eating something sugary, you feel a burst of energy, like you could take on the world, only to crash an hour later, exhausted and foggy? That's not just coincidence, that's sugar's false promise in action. It gives you the illusion of energy while secretly draining the very life out of you. Here's what's really happening. When you eat sugar, your blood glucose rises quickly, sending a surge of energy through your body. It feels good at first, your heart beats faster, your brain feels alert, and your mood lifts. But your body, always trying to maintain balance, reacts by flooding your system with insulin to bring those sugar levels down, and it often overcorrects. Suddenly, your blood sugar drops lower than before you ate, leaving you tired, dizzy, and craving another fix. That's what we call the sugar crash, and it's one of the main reasons so many people live in a constant state of fatigue. The tragedy is that millions of people think they're just naturally tired. They blame age, stress, or lack of sleep. But in reality, their energy is being stolen meal by sugar. They wake up tired because their blood sugar has been spiking and crashing all night. They feel foggy after lunch because that healthy sandwich or juice sent their glucose levels on a roller coaster. They need caffeine in the afternoon because their body is addicted to quick highs and short bursts of false vitality. In The Case Against Sugar by Gary Taubes, the author describes how sugar tricks the body into a perpetual energy crisis. Instead of steady fuel, it gives you unstable bursts that force your body to work harder just to stay balanced. It's like driving a car by flooring the accelerator and slamming the brakes every few minutes. You move forward, yes, but at the cost of your engine's longevity. And here's the cruel irony. The more you rely on sugar for energy, the less your body remembers how to create energy naturally. Your cells become resistant to insulin. Your mitochondria, the tiny power plants inside every cell, grow weaker, and your body stops efficiently burning fat for fuel. That means you can eat plenty, but still feel starved for real energy. You're full but empty, awake but drained, alive but not really living. Sugar doesn't just rob your physical energy, it steals your mental one too. That crash you feel after a sweet snack isn't just in your body, it's in your brain. Your focus fades, your patience shortens, and your motivation drops. It's hard to be productive, calm, or creative when your energy is swinging like a pendulum. That's why so many people feel stuck in life. They're not lazy, they're biochemically exhausted. But here's the good news. When you start reducing sugar, your real energy returns. It's slow at first. Your body has to relearn how to run on steady fuel. But then something incredible happens. You wake up clearer, you move lighter, you think sharper. The fog lifts, and you realize that the energy you were chasing was always supposed to be yours. True energy doesn't come from sugar. It comes from balance, stable blood sugar, proper sleep, hydration, and natural foods that nourish instead of numb you. When you stop relying on sugar's false highs, you rediscover what genuine vitality feels like. You don't just wake up in the morning, you rise. Aging is inevitable, but how fast you age, that's largely in your control. And one of the most powerful accelerators of aging, both inside and out, is sugar. Every spoonful you eat doesn't just sweeten your food, it feeds the silent process of inflammation and decay that steals your youth cell by cell. Let's look at what happens when you make sugar a daily habit. Each time sugar enters your bloodstream, it binds with proteins in a process called glycation. Imagine sugar molecules sticking to your collagen and elastin, the very fibers that keep your skin firm and your tissue strong. Over time, those sticky connections form harmful compounds known as AGs, short for advanced glycation end products. It's a fitting name because they literally make you age faster. Those AGs damage your cells from the inside, stiffening your skin, dulling your glow, and causing wrinkles to appear earlier. But the real harm goes far deeper than your reflection in the mirror. Inside your body, that same process hardens arteries, weakens joints, clouds vision, and slows healing. It's not time that wears us down as much as the chemistry of our choices. In Younger Next Year, the authors talk about how inflammation is the core of aging and sugar is its favorite fuel. Every spike in blood sugar triggers tiny waves of inflammation that slowly erode your organs. It's like rust forming on metal, not visible at first, but unstoppable if left unchecked. That's why high sugar diets are linked not just to wrinkles, but to arthritis, heart disease, and cognitive decline. Your brain, too, feels the weight of sugar's aging effects. It thrives on steady, balanced fuel, not the erratic surges sugar provides. Excess glucose harms neurons and accelerates brain aging, leading to memory problems and a decline in focus and mental clarity. Over decades, this damage adds up, showing itself as forgetfulness, confusion, and the dulling of mental sharpness that many simply attribute to getting older. But in truth, it's not always age, it's inflammation. And here's the cruel irony: sugar promises youth. It's marketed as comfort, joy, celebration, everything vibrant and alive. But it delivers the opposite. It speeds up cellular aging, slows recovery, and drains the energy that makes you feel young in the first place. Every sweet indulgence feels like a treat, but it's a trade, a moment of pleasure for days of fatigue and years off your vitality. The science is clear: sugar doesn't just make you age faster, it makes you feel older. It robs you of stamina, of clear skin, of resilience. But the beautiful truth is this: it's reversible. The moment you reduce sugar, your body begins to heal. Collagen starts repairing. Inflammation begins to cool. Your energy returns. Even your mood lifts. because your hormones and brain chemicals begin to stabilize again. The secret to aging well isn't found in expensive creams or miracle supplements. It's found in the simple act of saying no to the thing that's been aging you from within. When you choose real, whole foods over processed sweetness, you're not depriving yourself, you're preserving yourself. You're protecting your heart, your skin, your mind, your future. Because the fountain of youth isn't a place you find, it's a discipline you live. And the first step toward it begins when you finally break free from the sugar that's been quietly stealing your years. Sugar's greatest power isn't its sweetness, it's its deception. It doesn't just hide in desserts, it disguises itself as healthy, natural, or low fat. It's in places you'd never expect: granola, salad dressing, ketchup, yogurt, whole grain bread, even baby food. You might think you're making smart choices, but the truth is you've been sold an illusion. Food companies know exactly what they're doing. They've turned sugar into a business strategy. They know how to use your biology against you, how to trigger your brain's pleasure centers just enough to make you want more, but not enough to make you stop. That's not nutrition, that's manipulation. In Salt, Sugar, Fat by Michael Moss, the author reveals how scientists in the food industry deliberately engineer foods to hit what they call the bliss point. It's that perfect balance of sweetness, saltiness, and fat that makes your brain light up like a Christmas tree. The result, you crave the product again and again, even if you know it's unhealthy. They've turned food into a form of control. And it doesn't stop with candy or soda. Take a stroll through any supermarket. Notice the brightly colored packaging, the smiling faces on cereal boxes. Energy boosting, all natural. Those are not facts, they're marketing traps. They're designed to appeal to your emotions, not your logic. While you're thinking, this looks healthy, the sugar is already waiting inside, ready to do its work. Think about this. The same companies that tell you their products are good for you are also funding studies that downplay sugar's risks. For decades, they've quietly shifted the blame to fat, to calories, to lack of exercise, anything but the real culprit. And while the world focused on avoiding butter and oil, sugar slipped into everything else unchecked. That's why so many people still struggle with weight, fatigue, and poor health, even when they think they're eating well. Because what looks healthy on the label often hides what's harmful in the fine print. Fat yogurt can have more sugar than a slice of cake. A natural smoothie can contain the sugar equivalent of 6 teaspoons. The deception works because it feels comforting, sweet, familiar, harmless. But comfort food can quickly become control food. This isn't just about diet, it's about awareness. Once you learn to see through the labels, everything changes. You start to realize how much of your energy, your focus, your willpower has been manipulated by marketing. You stop trusting packaging and start trusting ingredients. You stop asking, does this taste good? And start asking, what is this doing to me? Breaking free from that deception isn't easy, but it's liberating. When you choose whole foods, things that grow, things that spoil, things without commercials, you take back control. You stop being a customer and you start being the caretaker of your own health. Remember, sugar doesn't just hide in food. It hides in convenience, comfort, and habit. But once you expose it, once you see the pattern, you can never unsee it. And that's when you become truly dangerous to the system, because an informed person is someone marketing can no longer manipulate. If you really want to understand how deeply sugar controls your daily life, try this simple test. Go just one full day without any added. No sweets, no packaged snacks, no soft drinks, no low-fat foods with hidden syrup or honey. Just one day. Most people can't do it. Not because they don't want to, but because they've unknowingly built their entire diet and even their emotions around sugar. The first thing you'll notice is how often your brain asks for it. You'll find yourself reaching for snacks without thinking, opening the fridge just to look, or craving something sweet after every meal. That's not hunger, that's habit. Sugar has trained your body to expect constant rewards. It's been your comfort in stress, your pick-me-up in fatigue, your celebration in joy. It has become an emotional reflex. But here's where the test gets even more revealing. Once you start denying your body that sugar hit, your energy will dip. You might feel irritable, tired, even foggy. That's not weakness, it's withdrawal. Your brain has been so conditioned to run on instant glucose that when you stop feeding it, it panics. It's the same pattern seen in almost every form of addiction. In The End of Overeating by David Kessler, the author explains how foods rich in sugar, fat, and salt create a powerful feedback loop in the brain's reward system. These foods hijack the circuits designed to motivate survival behaviors like eating and pleasure and turn them against you. You stop eating because you're hungry. You eat because your brain demands stimulation. This one, day test, isn't meant to punish you. It's meant to open your eyes. It shows you just how much control this one ingredient has over your choices. You'll start noticing sugar's presence everywhere in your morning coffee creamer, your cereal, your sauces, even in so-called healthy snacks. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. But here's the breakthrough: when you make it through that day, just 24 hours, you'll also start to feel something else: clarity. You'll notice moments when your body feels lighter, your thoughts sharper. You'll begin to understand that real hunger feels calm and quiet, not urgent or desperate. That realization is power. Because once you recognize that sugar's pull is manufactured, that it's not truly you wanting it, but a pattern imposed on you, you can begin to break it. You can begin to choose consciously instead of reacting automatically. That's when transformation starts, not by cutting calories or counting carbs, but by reclaiming your awareness. So try the test. Go one day without sugar, not to diet, to discover. Watch how your mind reacts, how your body protests, how your emotions shift. Every craving that surfaces is a teacher, showing you where you've lost control and where you can take it back. Because freedom begins with awareness. And when you see how much sugar has been shaping your decisions, you start realizing how powerful you truly are when you stop letting it. Once you begin to see sugar for what it truly is, a manipulative, addictive substance dressed up as comfort, the next step is replacing it with what your body actually needs. This isn't about restriction. It's about renewal. It's not about taking away sweetness from your life. It's about finding sweetness in foods that heal, energize, and sustain you rather than destroy you. The key to breaking free from sugar isn't willpower, it's strategy. You can't just stop eating sugar and expect your body to instantly feel fine. It's been running on quick, artificial energy for years. You have to retrain it to burn real fuel again. That begins with balance, real food that nourishes instead of numbs. Start your day with protein, not pastries. Eggs, yogurt without added sugar, a handful of nuts, or even a smoothie made from real fruit and greens will give your body slow, burning energy that lasts. Replace refined carbs like white bread, pasta, and rice with whole grains, oats, quinoa, brown rice, barley. They stabilize blood sugar instead of spiking it. Your energy becomes steady, your mood evens out, and don't fear natural sweetness. Fruits in their whole form, berries, apples, oranges, come packaged with fiber and nutrients that slow sugar absorption and protect your cells. They don't create the same chaotic spikes and crashes that processed sugar does. When you eat fruit instead of candy, you're giving your body sweetness with purpose. Drinks are another trap. Swap sugary sodas and juices for water, herbal teas, sparkling water with a splash of lemon or cucumber. It's a small shift, but one that instantly lowers inflammation and gives your liver a break from the constant burden of processing sugar. One of the most powerful changes you can make is adding more healthy fats: avocado, olive oil, seeds, fatty fish. These foods keep you full longer and help stabilize hormones that control appetite. You stop feeling the constant pull towards snacking because your body finally feels satisfied. But here's the most important piece: you must also replace sugar mentally. Many people eat sugar not just for taste, but for comfort, distraction, or relief from boredom or stress. When you remove sugar, those emotions will surface. You'll need new ways to soothe yourself: movement, deep breathing, reading, connection, or even a simple walk in the fresh air. These things don't numb you like sugar does, they nourish you. In Atomic Habits by James Clear, there's a powerful idea. You don't eliminate a habit, you replace it. If you remove sugar without replacing it with something positive, your brain will go searching for a new fix. If you fill that space with energy, giving foods in life, giving routines, the old cravings start to lose their grip. The beauty of this process is that within weeks, sometimes even days, you start to feel different. Your energy lasts longer, your sleep improves, your mood stabilizes, and most surprisingly, your taste buds change. Foods that once seemed plain begin to taste rich, flavorful, real. You start craving nourishment instead of numbness. Replacing sugar isn't about living without pleasure, it's about finding a deeper one. A sweetness that comes not from a bag or a box, but from balance, clarity, and control. Because the best kind of satisfaction is the one that lasts long after the meal is over. Here's the truth most people never realize: cutting sugar isn't just a diet change, it's a mindset shift. Because sugar isn't only in your food, it's in your habits, your emotions, your routines. It's woven into how you celebrate, how you cope, and how you reward yourself. That's why quitting sugar feels so personal. It's not just about what you eat, it's about who you are when you eat it. Breaking free begins in the mind, not the kitchen. It starts when you stop asking, what am I giving up? And start asking, what am I gaining? Because what you're really doing is reclaiming power. Power over your cravings, your energy, your health, your future. When you stop letting sugar control you, you begin to live by choice instead of by impulse. For years, the food industry has trained us to link sweetness with happiness. You deserve it. Treat yourself. Life is short. Enjoy the cake. But here's the lie: sugar doesn't give joy. It gives relief, and relief is not the same as happiness. Real happiness doesn't crash an hour later. It doesn't leave you feeling guilty or drained. It energizes you, it sustains you, it makes you stronger. In The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, there's a key insight: every habit has three parts: the cue, the routine, and the reward. Sugar often sneaks in as the reward. The real satisfaction isn't the sweetness itself, it's the comfort or peace it represents. Once you understand that you can replace the routine, you can build new patterns that reward you in healthier, lasting ways. When you shift your mindset, something incredible happens. Food stops being a battle. You start seeing sugar for what it truly is: a choice, not a need. The cravings lose their power because you no longer see them as commands. You see them as echoes of old habits fading away. And this mindset doesn't just change your diet, it transforms your life. It spills into everything. You become more disciplined, more focused, more resilient. You start recognizing where else you've been running on quick fixes, not just in food, but in your thoughts, your relationships, your goals. You realize that slow, steady energy, both physical and emotional, is what truly sustains growth. Here's the ultimate reward of letting go of sugar: freedom. Not the temporary thrill of control, but real freedom, the kind that comes when your mind and body are finally in sync. You stop fighting yourself. You stop bargaining with your cravings. You stop living on highs and crashes. Instead, you live in balance, and that's when everything changes. You wake up feeling grounded. You eat with intention, not guilt. You move with energy, not exhaustion. And one day, without even noticing, you take a bite of something sweet and realize you don't need it anymore. That's when you know you've won. Because the most powerful transformation isn't in your body, it's in your mindset. When you master that, sugar loses its power forever.